"You have slain a dormant beast, Mountain King's larva." The words rang through Sonny's mind with quiet finality, almost swallowed by the roar of blood pounding in his ears. His knees struck the cold stone. Air tore into his lungs in ragged breaths, each one sharp enough to sting. Every muscle screamed. His body felt as though it had been fed into a grinding machine and stitched back together with pain alone. The rush of adrenaline still burned through his veins, but it could no longer smother the crushing exhaustion settling deep into his bones. And yet, a fierce grin tugged at the corner of his mouth. The larva was dead. That single truth drowned out everything else. The exhilaration surged through him, so complete that he barely cared. The spell had granted him no memory. Somewhere in the back of his mind lingered the familiar disappointment. A weapon forged from the dream realm, enchanted armor. Anything born from a fallen creature's essence would have changed everything. A sword would have been priceless. Armor would have been even better. Hell, at this point, he would gladly have accepted nothing more magical than a warm winter coat. 3 seconds, Sonny told himself. You can rest for 3 more seconds. Then he forced the thought away. The nightmare had never paused simply because someone grew tired. Drawing one slow breath after another, he lifted his head and searched the battlefield. The larva's twisted corpse sprawled across the frozen stone. Relief lasted only an instant before irritation returned. The iron chain still bound him to the carcass like a cruel joke. Nearby, the shifty slave and scholar worked frantically, their pale fingers trembling as they struggled to untangle the links, desperate to reclaim even a sliver of freedom. Beyond them lay ruin. Bodies were scattered across the platform in grotesque fragments. Torn limbs, pools of blood already turning black against the frost. The sharp metallic smell hung heavily in the freezing air, mixing with smoke from the towering bonfire. Some slaves would never move again. A handful had escaped the slaughter and sprinted into the darkness beyond the firelight. Fools, Sonny thought, watching their silhouettes disappear into the endless white. They're dooming themselves. Only then did he realize why the chain had suddenly gone slack while he had been dragged through the panicked crowd. It had broken. One section now lay twisted across the stone, snapped cleanly in two. If only the shackles themselves had been simple iron cuffs, he could have slipped free. Instead, every pair was locked directly onto its assigned link. Without the proper key, there was no escape. The mountain answered that realization with another deep tremor. Sonny couldn't see the Mountain King. The monstrous tyrant remained hidden behind the blazing wall of the bonfire, but he could feel it moving. Vibrations rippled beneath his palms through the stone platform, each heavy step carrying impossible weight. Then came the screams. Raw, human, brief. Somewhere beyond the flames, slaves were still dying. An enraged bellow followed, shaking the icy air. Another answered it. Imperial soldiers were still alive, desperately throwing themselves against whatever nightmare lurked behind the fire. Then something else caught Sonny's eye. Movement. Several broken bodies twitched. His heartbeat faltered. More larvae? His eyes widened as one corpse pushed itself upright. Then another, then another, then another. 4 ruined figures slowly rose from the dead, their swollen flesh splitting with wet, sickening sounds. Their malformed jaws clicked. Their claws scraped against stone. Each looked every bit as hideous as the creature Sonny had just strangled. The nearest stood only a few meters away. Damn it all! The curse escaped before he could stop it. Then, almost pathetically, another thought drifted through his exhausted mind. I want to wake up. A chorus of rapid clicking echoed across the platform. One larva twisted its head toward the 3 slaves. Its rows of jagged fangs ground together with a horrifying rasp. Shifty collapsed backward onto the stone. A trembling prayer spilled from his lips. Scholar didn't even manage that. He simply froze. Sonny's gaze darted wildly over the ground, searching for anything. A blade, a broken spear, a loose stone. Nothing. Not one usable weapon remained. Bitterness hardened inside him. He wrapped a length of iron chain around his knuckles until the metal bit into his skin, raised both fists, and bared his teeth. Come at me, you bastard! The larva exploded forward. Claws, fangs, terror. The distance vanished in an instant. Sonny had less than a heartbeat to react. Before he could move, a shadow swept past him. Steel flashed. A single silver arc sliced through the icy air. The monster's head separated cleanly from its body. It collapsed without grace, its lifeless form skidding across the blood-stained stone. Sunny blinked. What was that? Still stunned, he slowly turned. The young soldier stood beside him, the same handsome warrior who had once offered him water. His expression remained calm, almost noble, touched only by quiet grimness. His leather armor looked untouched by battle, free from blood, dirt, or frost, as though chaos itself refused to cling to him. He is awesome. Sunny caught himself immediately. Poser. I mean, he's a poser. The soldier acknowledged him with nothing more than a brief nod before advancing toward the remaining 3 larvae. After only a few steps, however, he stopped. He turned. His eyes settled on Sunny for a long moment. Then, with one effortless motion, he drew something from his belt and tossed it through the air. Save yourself. He didn't wait for thanks. He was already running toward the monsters. Sunny caught the object on instinct. His fingers tightened around cold iron. He looked down. A narrow metal rod rested in his palm, ending in a small hooked bend. Recognition struck like lightning. A key. His pulse thundered. It's the key to the shackles. Hope arrived so suddenly it almost hurt. Dropping onto one knee, Sunny wrestled with the unfamiliar lock. His bloodied fingers slipped against frozen metal. Once, twice, 3 times. Finally, click. The sound was wonderfully small. His shackles sprang open. Cold winds swept across his bruised wrists. He rubbed the raw skin slowly, savoring the strange feeling of emptiness where iron had rested for so long. A dark smile spread across his face. Just you wait now. For one dangerous moment, his imagination filled with broken bones, spilled blood, and revenge. Boy, over here! Shifty waved both arms wildly. Sunny considered pretending not to hear him. Leaving the man chained behind held a certain appeal. But numbers mattered, and despite Shifty's threats, insults, and miserable personality, abandoning another slave to die in chains left an unpleasant taste in his mouth. Freeing him cost nothing, so Sunny hurried over. One lock, click, another, click. The shackles fell away. The instant Shifty was free, he shoved Sunny backward and burst into wild laughter, dancing across the stone with manic delight. Ah, free at last! Gods must be smiling upon us. Scholar's gratitude was quieter. He rested a weathered hand on Sunny's shoulder and squeezed gently before offering a tired smile. His eyes, however, remained fixed on the battle unfolding nearby. 2 larvae already lay dead. The 3rd had lost an arm, but still lunged with mindless fury. The young soldier flowed around every attack with impossible grace, his sword rising and falling like part of the winter wind itself. What are you waiting for? Run! Shifty spun toward the darkness. Scholar caught his arm before he could take another step. My friend, I would. If you say advise again, I swear to gods I will bash your head open. Their eyes locked. Hostility hung between them like drawn steel. Scholar lowered his gaze first. A weary sigh escaped him. If we run away now, we will surely die. Why? The older slave silently pointed toward the towering bonfire. Its flames crackled violently, throwing sparks into the frozen night. Because without that fire, we will freeze to death before the night is over. Until the sun rises, running away is suicide. Sunny remained silent. Scholar was right. He had realized it the moment the larva died. As monstrous as the Mountain King was, the bonfire remained their only refuge in this endless frozen wilderness. The broad-shouldered slave had spoken the truth before his death. No executioner was needed. Given enough time, the mountain itself would gladly finish the job. So what? I'd rather freeze to death than be eaten by that monster anyway. Not to mention, turning into one of those things. Shifty tried to sound fearless. The words came out hollow. His eyes drifted toward the darkness beyond the firelight, where the mountain disappeared into endless black, and an involuntary shiver ran through him. Without realizing it, he edged closer to the warmth. By then, the final larva had fallen. The young soldier had vanished. He had likely joined the greater battle raging on the opposite side of the bonfire, leaving the mountainside eerily empty. Scholar cleared his throat. The monster might be satiated with those it had already slain. It might be defeated or driven away by the Imperials. In any case, if we stay here, we have a chance to survive, however small. But if we run away, our doom will be certain. So what do we do? Sunny watched the flames. Unlike Scholar, he held no illusions. The Mountain King would never stop after killing merely most of its prey. Nor did he believe ordinary mortals, even awakened warriors, could truly defeat a tyrant. Surviving such a battle bordered on impossible. Winning it felt absurd. Still, if he wanted to live, the monster had to die. He lifted his eyes toward the raging battle beyond the fire. "Let's go take a look." Shifty stared at him as though madness had finally claimed him. "Are you insane? You want to get closer to that beast?" Sunny met his gaze without expression. Then he simply shrugged. Turning away from the warmth, he walked toward the roaring flames and toward the monster waiting beyond them.